Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. This is Robert, your resident Gen Xer, and right over there is John, our resident millennial. John, how are you doing this evening?
Spectacular.
All
I'm
right.
actually doing very well right now.
Keep your eyes on that buffer, and something was
Yeah,
trying to
I
act
will.
like it was giving me a hiccup, but I think I'm okay now.
Yeah, it looks all right for
I
now.
don't want to see
I'll
no
keep an I'll
hiccups.
keep an eye on it.
I'd hate to think that just trying to do this show is causing hiccups.
Yeah, hiccups. Just got done doing Ed's show as an emergency stand-in
I
because there's
saw that. I saw a
yeah,
little
you were
something
there.
about that.
Yeah, so
Oh,
make sure you guys go check that out over on Ed's channel because it was fun, very informative. I think very good.
oh my goodness. I
Looks
don't
like
know
we're
what's.
back up.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
But it looks like it's
Yeah,
going to start. It's looking like it's bouncing, and I got nothing that should be bouncing it.
I
Uh,
think it's this title. Like anytime we've had this title, we have issues.
yeah. See, here's Michael Vega round two. Let's go and then watch. I mean, because look at
Tom
Friday.
Stevie.
Friday was perfect, right?
Ed, I was just talking about you.
Ed.
Only bad things, of course. No, but seriously, like go check out that episode. I think it was a really good episode.
It wasn't. It wasn't bad for
For having me on it, yeah.
for
No,
punks.
no, it was actually made much better because I was on it.
But yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't know. I'm keeping an eye. I'm sorry. I'm a
I'm
little
looking at it too.
distracted.
Yeah,
I'm watching this. I'm like, hey, what's
fucking
going on?
YouTube's man.
What's going on here for a second?
So Michael Vegas saying talk Stady to me, Robert. Think you should.
Nobody. He doesn't want to hear what I have to say. He knows he doesn't.
I know he loves to hate.
Um, but I don't know, John. I don't know. So here's the state. They're. I think now the next thing. Are we currently? We're about to dismantle the post office, right? That's falling apart.
I suppose.
That'll take care of mail-in voting. We won't have to worry about that. He won't get ousted because of mail-in voting and bad
Yeah,
counts
the
and
thing is,
fraudulent stuff.
you've always been able to mail in vote. So, oh shit, Stephen
Stevie,
Ignoramus
I
over
like
there
it,
on Periscope because he likes to have the whole place to himself. It looks like. What's
right?
up, man?
I like
Bunch of
it. He's
fluffers, he says.
sneaking in on Periscope, but good God knows, I don't know, man.
Also,
If
I'm
it
not a
buffers, bear
fluffer.
with.
I'm not a fluffer. Just want to let you know. I'm actually the star. So, just saying. There we go.
But no, we tried to do this show last week, and really, I've just, I don't know, John. I have taken on the idea of the inevitability of the state. I'm not seeing anything that's changing anything. I mean, the only changes that I foresee coming are things that people are asking for, and the state's going to move on those things
Right.
and become more
Well,
statey by giving the people what they want.
yeah. So yeah, that is the thing about the state, right? The whole reason it exists is to get bigger, and the best way for it to get bigger is to have people ask it for things.
And aren't we doing that, right? For
Yeah,
30,
yeah.
40, 50, 60, 70
Longer,
years?
longer,
We've been
longer. Yeah.
asking for state control. Please
Yep.
control us. Please control us.
Well, it's
Eh,
more like please control those other people over there. Is mainly what it is. It's I want you to control them, and then of course it controls everybody. So it's not like they're discriminatory. They control everyone. So people don't realize that. It's like, oh, I don't like this thing;
right?
it should be gone, or I like this thing; it needs more money, or whatever it is.
Well,
Yeah,
and let's not have any confusion here. The state taking control doesn't have a side, folks. It's not, oh, the Democratic state is taking control, or oh, the
yeah,
Republican
that's all
state is.
bullshit.
The state is
Bullshit. The
the
state.
state. The state is made up of two legs, two
Yep,
boots with which to step on you with.
and they use both of them. They use both of them. Yep.
And so I have to ask this question, and and I'm not going to get caught up in a lot of boog talk. I'm not. I don't. That's not. It's not even really a consideration to me because that's just the open door to squash.
I don't know. If you talk to someone from the left, the
Yeah,
Booty
yeah,
Boys are like the biggest enemy that America's ever faced
sure,
ever, ever.
sure. Since the last presidency and the presidency before that and the
Well, the last
presidency before that.
presidency, it was the Tea Party. They're
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
evil Tea Party guys. They're
But
all gay and racist and stuff. I don't know.
I mean,
Whatever they said about them.
so John, what is the approach? What is the defense against a state of the people's will? I mean, this is what we're dealing with, and how do you fight that inevitability?
Well, so hang on. So it's not really a state of the will of the people. It's a state of the will of the state, who then tells people that this is what they want. And people say, "Oh yeah, that is actually what I want. So let me
Well,
go ahead and push for this." So it's not like the people just suddenly decided that they want something. It's that they're told that they want something, and they say, "Oh yeah, I agree with that," and then they move from there.
I can agree with that
So
to a certain extent. I mean, I don't know but if we go back and we look at something like civil rights, that wasn't
mhm.
somebody telling them, that
You
wasn't the
sure
state telling. You think the state was
they
telling
didn't
them
have?
they needed to step up and demand more rights?
Um, in a way, yeah, I would say, especially in the northern states, because I mean, most of the Jim Crow laws and stuff are in the southern states.
All right.
Yeah,
So I mean, so you think you would honestly say something like that was state manufactured, huh?
not necessarily manufactured. I
But
do believe that
motivated.
they motivated for sure. Yeah,
Real quick, so Steven says that we should replace the USPS with the USPOS.
fair
It's
enough.
roomy over here.
And Periscope,
I
yeah.
am going to say this about the U.S. Post Office. Look, the bottom line is it's there and it has a wealth of purpose. My wife uses it almost every day of the week for sending
Well, let me ask you something.
plant related stuff.
Does it do anything that FedEx or UPS couldn't
Yes,
do? I mean,
it adds a third element into a competitive market
DHL
versus
is a third
versus
one.
I the last time I used
I'm
DHL
just saying they exist.
was the last time I used DHL was when I just happened to hit those keys on my keyboard. I DHL doesn't even come to mind when you think about shipping something unless, maybe you're a shipping company
I
or
think it's
you're a
usually
distributor.
business, like
Right.
business people use
But
DHL or
but the
something.
bottom line is the U.S. Postal Service offers that third leg of a competitive market because if they go away, there's only two players in the market and they don't have to compete against each other anymore.
Yeah, they don't
Because if they,
typically.
because then it would look like they're gaining a monopoly if they start trying to put the other one out of business. So they just run up against each other and maybe they jack the
Well,
price up by $20 and then they
hang on,
say, oh,
because
we're going to compete over a dollar.
right, hang on. So Amazon is actually giving them both a run for their money now.
But only for their own stuff. You can't just call Amazon to ship a
For
letter.
now, for now,
For now, right? For
for
now.
now. Wait until until there's a need for it.
But well, now it's possible that Amazon will step up, and I do have something to say about what Amazon's about to do, which I thought was interesting. But um, Stephen also says I'm becoming a collapsitarian. Is
Yeah.
that what the term for it is? I see Nephilim Ninja in the house.
It's basically
Uh,
the term for I've given up on the current situation. Just let it all burn down, and hopefully something better will come from the ashes.
Hey, you know what? Periscope is a thing, so just deal with it. If it's an avenue for a voice, it's an avenue for a voice. Actually,
Wait, what?
Steven, I watched Steven on Periscope when he was doing his running around in DC. So it was a very useful tool, and it was a great platform to catch him on while he was running around out there. By
Yeah,
the way,
Steven's actually the only person I've ever watched on Periscope.
yeah, yep, and
Just not interested.
it was great. You just have to kind of deal with all, like on the mobile, you just have to deal with all the little hearts flying up because everybody's like, what Steven says. Oh my God, Steven said funny things, and he did an impersonation of Trump, and it was so funny.
Oh my god,
Michael Vick says Hawaiian shirts will never be out of fashion. 3 weeks
it's
ago they
true.
were, but now they're back. Balkanization, Robert, all aboard the boogie train.
Choo
Steven
choo,
says,
man.
imagine thinking the government is the people. Look,
Yeah,
look.
imagine,
Here's the thing.
imagine all the government.
Look, if you've got a bunch of people sitting around that all sorts of different voices. I get it, different groups asking for different things, but one of the main things that they all have in common is what they're asking for is are things that, for the most part, can only come from the federal government laying down some sort of rule, some sort of boundaries, some sort of something. So, whether it be the far left who wants the government to go a little more thought police, well, that's people asking for it, and the government can always fall back on that. And if people
Hmm.
say, "Oh, well, that's not the voice of all the people," then they say, "Well, it does. That what matters is notice the people that they've put into office. That's their voices
Hmm.
speaking as well." So when the AOC stands up and says,
Oh my
"Words are
god.
words are crimes," well,
Yeah, they are
that's a
obviously.
representative voice for a bunch of fucking people that put her into office. So again,
Right, but that
we
doesn't make them crimes. It doesn't make words
no, it
a
doesn't.
crime just because a bunch of people say they are. Like
But
that's the
it's
biggest fucking issue, I think.
it does not do that. No, but what it is the it's the verification they need to say this is the
Yeah.
will of the people. These are the voices of the people here in Washington because, well, you put them there, you know. And if you didn't, if you say, "Oh, well, I didn't vote," then they look at you and they say, "Well, then the onus is on you for not pursuing your civil responsibility to go vote." Right? That's part of your job as an American. They get the access to do it from us, one way or the other. And they always have us to fall back on as the scapegoat for why these things happen. There lies the inevitability again. Um, but
That's
Nephilim says,
probably
much better now.
rid
I
of
was
that.
a lawyer for you,
God damn it.
Thetans. The true black pill is acceptance, not despair.
Yeah,
Um,
it's true.
See, and I think that's where I'm at is I'm just accepting the inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear a lot of voices. You can go through YouTube, D Live, anywhere you want. You'll see lots of voices, and lots of opinions, and lots of information.
Yep.
But where you're not seeing any of that have an impact right now is in Washington. For some reason, there's a real buffer there. So they're not getting the stream. They're not paying attention,
Yeah.
you know. And sadly, they have to pay attention to things like Black Lives Matter because
They're
they
the greasiest wheel right now, so they're gonna get
sure. And it's
gonna
not
get the
even
oil.
their wheel so much. I mean, that wheel was co-opted
Yeah.
and changed into something that, is asking for a different kind of boot, right? It's like you've got to have state involvement one way or the other. What do you
Yeah.
want? Um,
Well, I think the main problem is that most people don't understand that the state is violence in itself. So you are anything you ask the state to do, you are asking for the boot to come down on somebody, no matter what it is. Everything the state does is violence because it's enforced by violence. And not everyone gets that. I mean, I remember talking to you about that, and you're like, no, 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 no. And I had to walk it through. And I think that's a big problem is that just people don't understand that. So they
I
think, oh, I can just ask the government for this, and it's not going to affect anyone. And this can only be a good because I'm asking for something, something that's going to make our lives better, that sort of thing. But of course, they don't understand that it comes with a healthy amount of violence
Well, look,
in order to enforce.
people will, like Michael would laugh, like Michael Vega says, laugh at the old man and men and their ways. But let me tell you this:
Back in my day.
the state was on a very slow uphill grind in gaining power over the years. But in the last decade, they may have crested the top. They may have gotten the
Oh yeah,
push they needed to now just get some momentum and
nine
really
eleven
start
was
making the
that.
grabs because
9/11 for sure.
people are pushing them to make the grabs for power, to control. I was fine with that slow grab. I was like, all right, this is, it is what's happening. I can cast my votes. I can try and do this. I'm not geared to function in any capacity and doing anything about it myself. So I'm fine with just this. Just keep it slow, and it's just give me another 100 years of this, and somewhere in there, I'm gonna die.
Right.
Now it's just going. It now this year alone has put it. It's just like it just pushed it over the top, and it's like, oh
Right.
shit, what?
Oh shit. No, because Michael Vegas said rip stream, and yeah, it's kind of like lagging a bit, but if you refresh
Well,
it, it should
right,
be fine.
yeah, right now I've got full output. Yeah, as soon as I
Yeah.
say that, it flashes a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, it says we're lagging. God
And
damn it.
I have checked. I didn't do anything different from when we were streaming Friday. We had a great stream Friday. No issues, no lags, no
Yeah,
problems.
of course. Until we want to talk about something we want to talk about.
Yeah, this
Something
something
I
about
want to
this
talk
this
about.
show seems to catch the bad voodoo.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
Monday night. Just YouTube doesn't like us being on Mondays.
Steven says, take the Stead pill and the clown pill. Anyone that says words or violence against or our violence gets labeled a permafag. You're killing people with your words, permafag. I am, and I'm sick of pretending that I'm not. Okay, Booter. Booter.
Okay,
I see
Booter.
Saint has shown up in the house. Ed says, John, you need to check your
I
phone.
just did. I answered him.
No way.
Yeah, he was showing me a picture of his steak. It's actually pretty gorgeous.
Was it his
I
tube steak?
No, it was a real steak.
Well, then it sounds
Pork
like you
chops.
got gypped.
Yeah, I mean, I did come a little, so just a little bit
Hey,
though.
hold
Whoa.
everything. We went into all this conversation and we didn't do one thing that's important. And it's funny how steak made me think of it. But
Yeah, it is kind of interesting
if you
how
think
that
about
happened.
it, you'll figure out why it was a good segue. Real quick, tell these guys while we've got them here what's going on
Yes.
Friday. Tell them quick.
Yes, on Friday. So first, before I do that, guys, hit the like button. That'd be a really cool thing for you to do. We would like it. Yeah, we're big fans of you hitting the like button on our streams. So do that if you would. If you don't mind. You're not being detained. It's okay. Don't be scared. But yeah, so after that, this Friday we're doing a 12-hour live stream for charity for St. Jude's. It's going to be awesome. I've got a couple of most of our Freedom Scoop people are going to be there. I think one of them can't make it, but
Who?
other than that, Freckles from
Oh,
Freckles and Brit won't
I'm
be
hoping
there.
Stephen Ignoramus is going to show up.
Yeah, he said he'll be able to show up either like right at the beginning or later on, or like towards the end. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how much we like him right at the start.
I like
See if
how
he'll
he
be there.
comes and goes. Like he's
Yeah.
very karma chameleon for me.
Well,
He
he's just
comes and goes.
he's just
He
too good for us
comes
now.
and
You know.
goes. Loving would be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just saying he's too good for us now. So he's. No, I'm joking, of course. But yeah, Ed sent a picture of his meat. He did. Um, but yeah, yeah. So Steven already said he'll be there at both at the beginning and end. He just it's that middle thing that he's
He's
not a
gonna
fan of.
spit roast us. All right. Good to hear.
Yeah, sounds good. Um, but yeah, I've got most of those people signed up. We know we're gonna have Matt Christensen on now. We got the confirmation earlier today.
Matt
So
Christensen.
Matt Christensen will be there for half an hour.
He will be there or be square.
He might be both. Who knows?
Hmm?
We'll see what happens. Only one way to find out. Tune in. But yeah, we've got our. I'm still trying to work with the Sh&t group that had messaged me back before. Haven't heard anything from them since like Friday. So yeah, we'll see what happens though. But either way, there will be a sea shanty being sang by myself and some other lovely viewers. And yeah, a trivia competition as well. Trivia competition is going to be good. We were talking about it before the shows. We're pretty excited about it. And yeah, then you have some kind of penis drawing competition, right, Robert?
Potentially a penis drawing competition.
Potentially.
But I don't know. Most of the people that watch our show probably don't know what they look like. So
But yeah, yeah, be there. It's gonna be fun.
challenge. But anyway, so about the state, it's inevitable, John. How do you fight the inevitability? At what age do you think you'll be when you're just like, yep, there's not really anything I can do?
ASAP. No, nothing I can do about the state. Probably never. I'm probably just gonna be ancient and like shaking my fist at every state thing that I see.
Hoping your Social Security check is still gonna come.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, oh, it didn't come here, fucking state.
Get off
Didn't
my
come here in
lawn,
time.
you fucking
Fuck yeah, get the
kids.
fuck off my lawn. Oh, hi, right. Hey, Wyatt.
Wyatt,
Wyatt showed up.
Wyatt's here.
Wyatt. Wyatt's gonna be on our 12-hour show too, right, Wyatt?
I
You
think
gonna show up?
he said he was gonna come for like 7 hours of it, didn't he?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I heard rumors about like 7 hours worth of Wyatt.
Yeah, well, Michael Vega, you think you're the best penis drawer around these parts? Well, prove it on Friday,
Michael
motherfucker.
Vega's seen more
Prove it.
penises than any of us combined.
He's an expert on
Right?
penises. He'll show you whatever kind you want.
He's seen so many penises. If I have a problem, I call him first.
Yeah, it's
Can
cheaper
you
than the
look at
doctor.
this? Can you look at this and tell me if something's wrong?
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be exciting. Let's make sure we go, you know, get in on that. And yeah, the state sucks also. Steven says peen drawing, I'm out. Well, only because you know you would win, so you want to give everyone else a chance to have their moment in the spotlight. Jeez, calm
Excuse me. Excuse
down.
me. So I don't, he's off all Friday. Oh, we could kidnap Wyatt for the day. He'll be ours.
Wyatt, you don't know what you just did to yourself, Wyatt.
Find out what time zone he's in.
He's in Texas. He's in Central.
We're gonna Zoom rape him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what is that? What does that involve? I'm not sure I'm down for this anymore.
We're gonna get him on Zoom and lock him in. He won't be able to leave. I'm gonna hack his IP. Oh well,
Steven,
it's a
we
large
weren't
whiteboard, Stephen. Just FYI,
we weren't suggesting you draw your own. Jeez.
right?
I
He's
mean, you
like,
can, but
you know why he was saying he was out? Because he's like, how am I supposed to put it up there to trace it? Uh,
yeah.
how do I
Stephen
trace
Pinoramus over here.
it?
That's funny. I like it. That was good. You get a thumbs up from me, Nephilim. That was funny. I don't know what it's worth, but you got one. So do with it what you will.
So I have a question for you, John.
I have
All
an
right.
answer.
All right. So, well, actually, two questions, I guess.
No, I
Okay.
didn't sign up for 2 questions. Come on.
Hold on. You can answer both of them, I think.
All right.
All right. So the first question is, and I know the answer to this. So,
Well, then,
so
okay.
come November, Democrats win,
Hmm.
state increases.
Naturally.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Come November, Republicans win, state increases.
Hmm. That's all it does. Yeah. Doesn't matter who's in charge. The
So,
state's going to increase.
so then I have this question about this argument that I've heard occasionally here and there that Trump is fighting for our liberty. Do you feel that's true?
I think that he's doing less damage than Hillary would have done to our freedoms. However, no, I mean, he's not fighting for our freedoms. He's done quite a few things to infringe
No,
on those freedoms.
no, I didn't say freedoms. I said liberty.
So there's no difference.
There's no distinction here, right?
No,
Okay, all
no.
right, that's fine. I just wanted to clarify because in certain contexts there's a distinction.
I don't think so, but
Well, some people do.
you.
Well,
You mean you.
well, I
I
mean,
mean, I get what you're saying
I think it's a clear
with your
distinction.
analogy.
You're
I
free.
get
You're
what,
free to
yeah.
go out of your house. You're just not free to kill somebody.
Right, you're
And
not
that
free to go into someone else's house.
but both
Yeah.
of those things are a liberty, right? So,
I mean, I suppose they are, yeah. Like genital flapnoramus. Oh my god, you guys are getting creative in there.
I love it.
Stephen Dicknoramus. I
We
like all
should
of
we should have a contest to rename Steven
it.
and see what we can come up with.
Or we can just let the chat, have fun. I don't know.
Come
Not
on, work
everything
with
needs
me
to be a
here,
competition, Robert. Jeez.
and we'll blackmail him with it. You change your name to this, or we get you canceled.
Oh, we could get him canceled too.
I think we could. I could find ways.
He says naughty words on his live stream.
He says the N word
He says neighbor? Wow.
twice.
Wow. What a total piece of shit.
But so um, is is it possible that, to go back and, even though I said it wasn't going to talk about it so much, just the question, is it possible that a book would make a difference, a positive difference? It won't that just all that's going to do is take state to the next level, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Because we've seen the George Floyd protests have kind of opened the door to the look of the book, right?
yeah.
Right? Because some of the book poked its head up during all of this.
Well, they usually go out there and LARP with the other LARPers. I mean, that's all they're doing out there is LARPing. And then occasionally, a gun will go off randomly without anyone touching it. And then, that's whole news for half an hour.
Um, but
But
we,
typically, it's just out there, LARPing.
but
Both sides, both Bugs and Antifa,
it
both
called on
out there.
Trump to show his hand, though, right? And what he will do in response to that.
Right, which I do like the way he handled it. He did not come and just put the state's boot down right away. I mean that's what they wanted, right? That was the whole point of letting it go. From like the governors of Washington and Oregon. That was the whole point of them just, yeah, we're not going to do anything. Go ahead, Trump, be a dictator. Like that was the whole point behind that. But and then he didn't rise to the bait. So I'll commend him for that.
Um, you told me recently, was it on Friday's show, that you say the outcome of the race is now relatively questionable for you.
Yeah,
Like you don't have any near the certainty you might have had a month
right.
ago, right?
Yeah.
Um, we've had a friend of ours that was in Discord, Yasmin, who has said and even asked me to wager $50 on it,
Right.
that election day is going to be the start of said rebellious activity, as it were. Do you agree with that at all? Do you think the motivation is there?
I think if Trump wins, then no. We're going to see much of the same that we're seeing right now. Uh, if Trump loses, even then, no. I think if Trump wins, will there be some sort of like uprising?
Okay, so
Especially if it's questionable, which it will be as soon as, assuming that he wins, that those results will absolutely be questioned immediately. Um, but I don't know if Biden gets it. I don't see a right wing response to it, at least not a violent response to it. I just don't see it.
okay, so see there, and now your answer has created a little bit of confusion for me, because like if I'm picturing said activity, I'm picturing the true the true cause coming from the middle to right, right leaning, not far right, just right leaning,
Hmm.
and would expect something like that if Trump did not win.
Well, yeah, because he thinks that that the right wing are just like waiting for something. They're out there terrorizing people, and he
Right,
basically thinks the right wing is doing what Antifa is doing, and they're just not. I'm sorry, that's not reality.
right.
They're just not
But
doing that.
but when I think about like the because I think more libertarian minded, more right wing when I imagine like the true militia style bug mindset,
Hmm.
right? Um, because it wouldn't if Trump wins, the reaction is not going to be bug. It's going to be more of what we have now because this can't be constituted as anything to do. It's not the boog anymore. I mean, that's not what it's about. I mean, at this point, am I correct? I
I'm not sure
I
I'm
I
Follow
don't.
me
Well,
exactly.
I don't know what the. I know that it was infiltrated. I know it was controlled by certain people, like we were organizing things, and
Wait, what
from
was
different factions,
the
like all the protests and the
the?
rioting
Oh,
mainly,
okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
right?
Not the
Um,
Boogaloo, right?
right, but there were some small groups that were boog minded, right, trying to do some boog activity. I think because, they talked about there were some far right groups involved in some of the activities in different places, which not as far right as I would picture the normal
Well, the
boog.
first thing you would do as soon as someone says, "Oh, the far right is doing X" or "the far right is doing Y," the first thing you do is ask them to define far right.
Right, because
9 times
it's
out of 10, they can't do it. It's just amazing how many people you can say that to, and they're like, "Oh, well, they did this and that," and then they start naming like, random people in Congress or in
right.
the Senate, and it's like, yeah, those people are not far right. Like they don't want a fascist state. They don't want like no, they're just lining their own pockets like everyone else is there. There's no difference between those except for what color the tie they wear. Like that's really the only meaningful difference between them. So no, no one in the Senate is a far right person. No one in the House is a far right person. The man in the White House, not a far right person, right? So where is this far right that I'm supposed to be deathly afraid of? There's like I always say, there's like 12 of them.
Yeah, see, like, I get. Did Ed say this? Maybe Ed said this. Steven says the real boog cannot come from the left.
I
At J
agree with that.
Edgar.
Yeah, they're
So,
just too weak, and there's way too much infighting, which I think would also happen on the right. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, the left can't. They're I mean, they can you can get them together for a week or two, and then there's infighting. There's too much purity testing.
um, well, does all of this that's going on right now kind of diminish the possibility of the actual book then? So to where we don't have to stress that that's going to happen. I
I
mean,
don't think that that happens if Biden is elected. I think that we'll see a lot of these riots and stuff. If they haven't ended by then, I think we'll start seeing them again based on Trump being reelected only. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't think so. With the trend of, you know, these Boogaloo boys, I don't see them being the aggressors.
right. It's just it's weird to be at a place in time where we're actually fighting about you know in the streets about who is and isn't president, like various third world, second and third world countries around the world do. Or like
Yeah,
we're really this is us. This is where what we've come down to, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's, how do you not just sit back and just watch the inevitable then? I mean, it's like,
That's what they're talking about. You being a leftitarian now. That's funny.
well, I mean, it's not. I'm not expecting a collapse. I just expect the boot. I mean, that's what I expect, and that's the part that I
Yeah,
really worry about. Is I don't want to have. I don't want to live in an America where I don't feel comfortable going outside my house because of the state. I don't have that issue right now. Right? I haven't really had that issue in my life where I didn't feel comfortable going out because of the state.
yeah,
But you know, we're getting there, and that's a problem to me,
yeah.
right? Um, so my thought is we need to stop doing all the shit that's making the state that's bristling the state's fur, as it were. I mean, how do we stop that?
What do you mean? Do you mean like just giving
Well,
in? Doesn't
well,
sound like a good plan.
no, not giving in, but I mean, like all this shit that's going on with the protests and the riots, that needs to
Hmm.
just stop. That just
Well,
gets the
yeah,
state agitated to do state stuff, right?
yeah. Well, the state. I mean, state's gonna state.
Um, just let states run their elections. So
But then, how do we put our guy in charge, Robert? Stop. You're being
the
silly.
same way it's always been done. I mean,
No.
if you're gonna go with a busted electoral system, then go
Well, so the
keep
thing
doing
is,
everything like you normally would. Let the
to
states
say,
handle it and fuck off.
I mean, to say that though, and so I was listening to one of the Joe Rogan podcasts where he had on Joey Diaz, and he's from New Jersey, and he was talking about how they run the local elections there, like how they ran them back in the '70s when he was, when he was a kid. How like they would pay them to go around to people's yards and like pick up political signs for the opponent, and they said that they would knock on your door and be like, "Look, here's who you're voting for. Make sure you vote for that person. Don't make us come back." Pretty much is what he was saying. Like that kind of thing is not new. Kind of like election interference and shit, not new at all. Uh, and Steven, I wasn't talking about Rogan. I was talking about someone he had on. Jeez, all right, calm down. But anyway, um, I still don't get the whole Rogan hate, but whatever. That's not what we're talking
Because
about
they're
right
being
now.
told to hate him. Come on.
I know, I know. But anyway,
That's the
I
narrative.
know. Triggered. Yeah, I am triggered. But anyway, but yeah, I mean that kind of like election interference and dirty politics is not new, and that is something that was something at a local level. Now imagine what they're doing at the federal level. If there's that kind of shit tying over here because of that. That's funny. Um, but but yeah, I mean, if that's kind of shit that they're doing at the local level, something that you can just talk about openly. Imagine what they're doing behind doors. Imagine what they're doing at the federal level behind doors.
Right.
I mean, election interference is not going away.
Speaking of
So
Joe,
this will like we care about election interference. No, you don't. You
right,
just want it to go your way, and I
right,
get that, but you don't give a fuck about election interference. Don't pretend like you do.
right. If you cared about election interference, you'd have made it all federal by this point. Federal control. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it'd be a lot easier to interfere with the election at the federal level. It's
Right.
true.
I just want real quick about Joe Rogan. I have to say I dipped into a little blast from the past. I found news radio on I think it's on Crackle. Was it Crackle? And I've been watching a few episodes of that old news radio. Like was it Joe Rogan's first gig on
I
TV?
think
One of
I
his
think it was his
first.
first big one. If it wasn't his first,
Yeah,
yeah,
but he's pretty good. It's kind of funny watching him back then, where he wasn't
yeah.
completely an idiot,
It
idiot savant when it came to the
was
tech, right?
Yeah. Oh, it
Uh,
was funny. I was watching actually early this morning because I woke up at like 4:30 and couldn't go back to sleep. So I put on. I found it was on my recommended. It was what was that show? Joe Rogan questions everything or some shit like that. On like from like the Sci-Fi Channel from a few years ago, and he's you know how he's like bald and everything. But I looked at the comments and it was like, oh, this is back when Joe Rogan had long hair. Like I laughed so hard at that comment.
Michael Vega says, as much as I'd like it, I don't think the big Caesar salad is upon us. Only left violence, which isn't the same, but actually the world Robert fears he'll live in during and after Boogie Revolution. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Revolution. That's
Uh,
how I spelled it.
Imagine what guys Rogan is doing behind closed doors,
Right.
right? Just the
I mean, I
ones
could
that
probably
stand
name a
still.
few.
Just the ones that
Dun-
stand still.
Duncan Trussell for sure. He's doing behind closed doors. Those two and Eddie Bravo. Those
We've
guys
got
are
I,
gay as fuck for each other.
I see Bad Butt Baboon on D Live
Ooh, I like
asking
that
if
name.
I guess the two of us are
Are
lovers.
we lovers?
No, no.
Platonically.
Well, I mean, we can't deny there was a little bit of chemistry at the beginning, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, there
we
was some
we
chemistry,
were
but we got
like,
over
no,
it.
we've got to keep this professional and not jump into that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah, we can try to keep it off the podcast.
right, right. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a little bromance there, but nothing that would get us on Flava Flav's House of Love or whatever the hell it is. Uh, Steven says Rogan was a fluffer before news radio.
He was a fluffer. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Duncan and Rogan for sure. Pump fact. Yeah, dude, I could see it. I could see those two going at it. I think about it sometimes, real late at night when I'm trying to sleep. I think Rogan and Jordan Peterson have pumped. Are you sure? I don't know. Peterson doesn't seem like the type who would like do any of that. I know he's got kids or whatever, but I don't know.
I
I
think
mean, who wants to fuck Kermit the Frog? Really,
Peterson can do better than Rogan. I'm just saying.
Rogan's got the money though. I don't
Yeah,
know. Rogan's
Rogan's
got
got
some money.
some money, but I mean, Peterson doesn't smoke weed probably, so he's
Michael
not, you know,
Vega
they're
says, "All
gonna
right,
have much to talk about.
Michael Vega, real quick. He's leaving, so I want to. That's the only reason I'm interrupting you. So yeah, see you, Mike. Michael Vega. We will continue to keep on stating. I think.
Nephilim says that got awkward. Uh,
I love it when people are like, they're all, I guess I don't know. I don't want to say like Puritan. That's not an accurate statement. I don't know. I love when people get grossed out about like sexual shit. It makes me want to like talk about it more, just because
right,
it's really funny.
right. About
Like it's really funny
like
making people
how
uncomfortable.
gay we are for each other.
Right? Yeah, because you and I both know that that's not happening, but
Well,
it's
right.
funny to right.
I mean, we know
Love it.
it's not happening like
Jeez.
in something we're going to discuss with people, right?
Right. So no, it's just really funny to
Right.
just get people to be like, "Oh my god."
Now, Ed says, "Does Robert have surprise stupidity? What is
That's a
in
segment that he does at the end of his show. He'll do surprise stupidity, which is like, yeah. But no, we haven't done that actually.
what surprise stupidity?
Yeah, we haven't done. We don't do like segments. I think we tried that at the beginning, and that just kind of fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, our rambling is, something to behold.
Yeah, true, Steven. He
I
says he
don't
doesn't like.
like
He
when
doesn't.
when
Go
women
ahead.
get all nasty weird. They should be cooking instead.
Right, like that's foreplay to me, man. Cook me a nice meal.
Look,
I'll be ready to go by the end of it.
I don't have a problem with that, provided that she can cook in nothing but an apron, open back, of course,
Right. Yeah, naturally.
and with one foot up on the sink.
I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're gonna, I mean, I wouldn't want to disrupt her while she's cooking. That's just rude.
Oh, why would it disrupt her? If she can cook, she'll be able to cook with minor distractions.
Yeah, I suppose. Lol, who has a sink?
Great.
Most people have
That's,
sinks, man.
yeah,
I don't know if your basement has a sink, but
it's a thing. Yeah, see,
that was mean. That was probably mean to
that's
say.
gonna open up a broader conversation as to who has dishes to put in a sink, who has cabinets to put dishes in.
Right.
See you, Nephilim. Thanks for stopping by
See you,
and
Neff.
being with us tonight.
Peace,
Uh,
bruh.
but yeah, Stephen loves septum piercings. Oh, now see, Ed,
I could see it. I could
Oh
see
no,
Steven
no.
liking the septum piercing.
Now I have to tell you, my favorite piercing is when the perineum is pierced. That's my favorite.
Of course it is.
I
See, I'm
stumbled
not a
on one
big
of
fan of
those when I was
piercings
young.
at all. I'm
I
not a
s-
fan
yeah.
of
I
any piercings
I stumbled
at
on one of
all.
those when I was
I mean,
young.
ears are fine,
When I
but
was young, before piercing was cool, right? Before people were
yeah.
just getting their bodies metaled out. But it was just completely random, and I hadn't run into anything like this before. And I happened to be down there, and I ran into a piece of metal, and I was like, "Holy guacamole!" She's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it makes things feel good."
Steven's
All
trying to
right,
defend himself. It's not working.
Stevens. No, I don't. So gross. Those bitches should get on a box car. Oh, Steven. If one didn't know better,
Well, what's
which
funny is we actually like lost half of our viewers for that conversation. We went from 8 to 4.
right. Well,
Whoops.
like I know that like three
Whoops.
or four of them went to, at least two or three of them, I mean, went to go eat and do things. They parted with commentary, so
Yeah, I know.
that's
It's
always
just
good.
funny.
We're still carrying at least one schmuck on D Live, and I know that you're a great schmuck, whoever you might be. Schmuck is my term of
God,
endearment.
Steven, why you gotta run all our people away? Jeez. So
But
anyway, the state is
Steve,
bad, and
this,
state should go away. That's a conversation we're
but
gonna
you,
have for the rest of the night.
but I mean, how? Right? Like that's never going to happen. The state's never going to go away voluntarily,
No, of course not. Yeah.
and the people are not going to stop giving up power to the state voluntarily.
Right.
So there, I struggle to find a middle ground other than
The only middle ground I can think of is give people the option to opt out. That's the only middle ground that I can see, and even that, I wouldn't trust the government not to renege on it.
But see that even
I mean, look what they did. Like, you want to talk about what they did with Native Americans and reservations? You know, they reneged several times on that.
sure, but the opting out
So
carries too many far-reaching implications about where you're going to live. If you've opted out, you have to have, you know, well, then they would say, okay, if you're opting out, then you opt out, leave the country.
no,
That's the
no. I
direction
mean,
the state's going to go on something like
if
that.
you
They're not
no,
going
if
to
you
have a,
own property, then that's it. Your property,
but
wherever
you
those
don't,
boundaries are, no
you
longer
and
a part of the incorporated United States.
you and I both know you never,
Saying though, that would change that. Being able to opt out means that you're no longer paying property taxes. So long as you completely own it, you don't own, you don't owe a mortgage.
sure, but for
Then
for even that
that means
little
that you would own it.
that for even that little chunk of land, you're now costing the state money because that they would normally be getting tax revenue on.
That's not
So
costing them money. That's
sure,
just not giving them as
it
much money as they would have
reduces.
gotten before.
They see it as a cost because it
It's not a
reduces it
cost.
reduces the amount of income. They see it as a cost, just like you
Yeah,
see
it's not a
taxes as
cost.
a cost to your income, right?
Well,
You know,
yeah, that is though, because it's actually specifically costing me money to do it.
right? You're
It's not
taking.
income that I don't have. It's income that I have and they take it out before it gets to me. So that is
So
money that I've earned, whereas taxes are
would you?
not money that is earned by the government. It's money that is stolen by the government.
So
There's a distinction there.
you're comfortable buying that land at a price that takes into consideration, say, a reasonable perpetuity of lifespan, say 75 more years. You're gonna pay a price that incorporates about 75 years worth of inflated
They don't have to
tax
know what
rate.
I'm doing with that land. They
No,
don't have
no,
to
no,
know that
no,
I'm
no,
going to
no.
opt out as
You're
soon as I
gonna
have
you're
it.
gonna have to buy that land from somebody. You're going to
Yeah.
have to buy it from the true owner if you want to be, or you're going to have taxes on it. So you're going to have to buy it from the state, one way or the other. And so they're going to
Well,
attach a
no.
big chunk to that because you're taking future revenue from them by taking that chunk of
I mean,
property.
yeah, I could see them doing something like that. I could see them doing something like that.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Right?
I
Right.
guess why not? Yeah.
That's
It'll
kind of their
discourage
thing.
you from opting out and make it
Yeah.
almost impossible. Yeah,
How many layers of bureaucracy do you need? Ed
all of
says,
them.
what happens when Sean King reneges? Who's Sean King?
He's a guy on Twitter who pretends that he's black even though he's white. That's pretty much the only summary you need
Does
of
he
Sean King.
pretend that he's black or does he identify as black? See, you can't be
Yes, both.
disparaging in this way.
I can, yeah, I can. I can do what I
No,
want.
no, sir.
I'm not being detained. I can do what I want.
Uh, Soon the state will tell you that's not okay.
Yeah, well, until then, and even then, like, go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I don't know, John. I'm trying to find a place to swim in this river, and all I
I
can
got it
really,
too. I just wasn't gonna say it. Ed. Just saying.
I well,
That's what it meant.
you could
Yeah.
have explained it to me, but I mean, but no, I'm like I'm looking at the river and all that's going on with it, and I'm thinking just find myself the shallows and just kind of swim in the shallows and stay out of all the bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
As
Opting
long
out.
as well, I mean, it's next to impossible to opt out. I'm talking about the reality that we have right now. I can't just opt out that easily. So I don't know. I changed my mind about the inevitable. I don't see
No, I mean
an
the state
option.
is inevitable. That's the issue. That's why it needs to be made not inevitable. It needs to be made evitable, if you will.
But
I don't even know if that's a. I've never used evitable. I've only used
right.
inevitable.
And then I get on that god
But
and then I get on that goddamn hamster wheel. Okay, so fine, you bring evitability to the state and you replace it with the inevitability of another state. God damn it.
or
Here we
just
go
of
again.
nothing, or just of nothing.
Yeah, that and you and I both know nothing doesn't work.
I know.
Nothing's not been working for no amount of time for the last 30 to 80 years.
Yeah.
So somewhere in
Yeah.
there, somebody figged it up.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, as soon as the state comes, it's going to be, uh, if it comes from nothing and starts to become a state, it's going to be weak and effectively powerless for a while, and
Yeah,
that's when you
yeah,
strike
but
it
that'll
down.
just be the period where we're all killing each other off.
Well, that's when you strike down the government as well, while it's while it's trying to gain a foothold, and you're like, nope, not
Right,
happening, not again, not
right,
never again.
because no,
Hashtag never again.
nobody else who wants power is going to try and strike down that government, and nobody else who wants power is going to strike down that
I know,
government, and
I
nobody
know,
who's going to want to have a better
and
idea and
those are
strike.
still the answers I don't have, and that's why I don't consider myself an anarchist still,
We're going to
because
be,
I still don't have the answer to that,
yep, yep,
to the
yep. Nope.
warlord question.
You know what we're going to be? We're going to turn into the 50 manufacturing states of
I'm fine with that.
China.
Oh well, that part I'm not fine with. That part I'm not fine with.
Right? That's what we're going to become. We're just going to become manufacturing states for China. They're going to ship workers over here, and
Fuck you. I ain't
it's
working for shit.
again the inevitability. The inevitability.
Yeah.
One way or the other, there's always a bigger fish. You know, just ask Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, there's always a bigger government. That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get the hell out of here. I'm tired of making myself sad. If somebody out there thinks that they have an answer to this inevitability, let me know. Something realistic. I mean, I don't know that what we've got in place, the people we've got in place, the opportunities that we have to put people in place are really any kind of solution. So I struggle to see a light at the end of the tunnel that doesn't
Yeah.
look like a boot. I just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll find hope in our charity stream, John.
Hopefully we will. Which thanks for bringing that up because it's happening this Friday. We're gonna have all the answers to all of your political questions. Any problem you have, we will have the answer for it.
Whoa!
Will it be the correct answer? Who knows?
Oh,
But
thank
it will
God.
be an answer.
Thank God. Fake news
No.
it is.
Yeah. But yeah, no, be there though. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're going from noon to midnight, Eastern time. Obviously, why would we go under any other time zone? They're all fake anyway. Uh, yeah, we're gonna be benefiting St. Jude's, which is pretty sweet. We've worked for them before. I was gonna say with them, but they don't know we exist. So we've done stuff for them in the past, and it's worked out well for us. So we're gonna do it again. And yeah, like I said at the top of the show, we have our sea shanty singing that we're gonna do. Still trying to make it a competition. We'll see what happens. And then we've also got our Jen Gapperty trivia contest, which I think is gonna be super fun. Um, just a heads up, you guys might want to study because my board is pretty epically awesome and difficult. Uh, and then Robert's penis drawing contest we're gonna do as well, I assume. We've also got Matt Christensen. He's going to be showing up. We've got most of our Freedom Scoop troop. They're going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun and games. And yeah, it all goes to a great cause. So make sure you're there. Don't be figs. Be there.
That sounds like an excellent idea.
Yes. Best
Ed,
idea I've had all night.
by the way, Ed says federalism is the answer, but I don't agree with that because we already deal with some sort of federalism, I think,
No, we
because it's
don't.
the
We don't,
federal
though.
government, right? It's
Well,
in the
that's not what
name.
Fed. It's in the name. Yeah.
I see.
Jesus.
I got to
I know.
react. I
I
got to
know.
react to silliness. I got to.
Triggered. I'm triggered again.
All
This is the
right.
second time I've been triggered on this show today.
John, I'm going to do this, and you do your thing.
Yes, go
Tell him
look in the
quick. Tell him
description.
quick.
We have all of
Fast.
our links. We have Twitter at the GenGapP. We have our Discord server. It's a lot of fun. Go in there. We've got our Subscribe Star. Make sure you check out the tier benefits that you get for signing up because they're pretty cool. We're not just asking for money for nothing. We're going to give you guys stuff in return, extra content mostly. So if that's something that you would be interested in, make sure you go and sign up for a subscribe star. And freedomscoop.com is down there as well. So make sure you go and check that out because it's got a lot of great creators, such as ourselves, of course, mainly first and foremost. And then other people like Jay Edgar, who's in the chat there, and
Uh,
Stephen Ignoramus, who also is in the chat there.
Scoop Troop.
Uh, Wyatt from Roundtable Decision, who was in the chat earlier. We've got the R-rated conservative. He's over there, and Freckles and Britt are now over there as well. So make sure you go check that out. Buy your t-shirts, and enter the code GenGap at checkout to get 15% off your purchase. And was that fast enough? I think that was pretty
Oh,
fast.
you're done? Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, thanks, folks. We appreciate everybody showing up tonight, and we look forward to seeing all of you come Friday. Friday's good.
Friday. I think Friday sounds
For
good.
12 hours, we're gonna be pumping out 12 hours, and we hope to see all of you there. Hitting that like button, adding to the conversation, being a part of the conversation, jumping on Zoom, jumping on the show, letting
Yeah.
people hear your voice and what you have to fucking say. Maybe you've got some answers to questions we haven't asked yet. But anyway, we're going to get the hell out of here. We'll be back on Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time for that 12-hour live stream for St. Jude's. Then, of course, we'll be back again next Monday as well at 9:30 Eastern Time for our regular Shooting the Shit episode. Outside of that, I got nothing except a damn sketchy stream. All right, John, let's get the hell out of here before
Let's
I
do it.
lose my mind. Peace out, folks. Have a good night.
See you guys.
The war will begin.